Hello, everybody. This is Becky. I am here. I'm just going to do a flip through here in a minute. It's the dry season, so if you see bloody spots on my hands, I'm sorry. It's dry skin, and no amount of lotion is going to touch it. So anyway, I just want to talk about just a couple items that I got at the thrift store. Hey, Kathy. And I also wanted to share just I'm not going to make them right now, but just some kind of ideas to do crafting with your kiddos or friends that I've seen pop up in my feed that I want to do. Um, so let's talk about the stuff I got at the thrift store. We went to several, but we didn't find a lot. Hi, Mary. Hi, Linda. So this is what Angie uses to make her bowls. It's just clothesline. And you just wrap fabric around it, and then you do like that, and you start sewing, and then you keep turning and turning and turning, and then when you get to the side, you got to kind of angle it if you want a side. Got this for $1.99. It didn't look like it was ever opened. Quite frankly, this type of clothesline is not useful for hanging clothes on. This stuff stretches out. It's just horrible. But anyway, that was $1.99. And then I saw this, and I know it came from Hobby Lobby because that's their brand. And I paid $2.99 for it. But I just love the colors, the aqua and the brown and cream. So I got that to make some doilies or something else that's thread. And then these were just too beautiful to leave for $1.99. Look at these napkins. Aren't these lovely? And they've never been opened. So I said, yes, please, because I've got a bunch of those. Do you remember years ago, Dollar Tree and what's the dollar store in Canada? They both had about the same thing, Dollarama. Those little wooden boxes, you could get them as squares or circles. I've got some in the back, and I thought I could cover them, some of those, and I could add those to my gift box of things that I like to just have on hand for gifting opportunities. That way, I always have something I can gift to somebody. So I'm going to make some of those up. And that's all I got at the thrift store was those three things. And I spent a whopping, what, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7. I think we did the whole where you round to 8. So we gave them $8. So that's the extent of the thrifting. This morning, I have been working on cutting the pattern out for this. And what I do is I trace my patterns because then I always have the original. And what I'm doing is I have a larger than I'm supposed to belly because of a certain kid that weighed 9 pounds and 6 ounces at birth that wrecked my abdomen. But anyway, I'm blaming it on him. It has nothing to do with bread and cakes and cookies. No. But anyway, I've been working on getting this cut out. I'm going to do view B, but I can't stand dresses this long because at 5'5", this makes me look so dowdy. So I've shortened it. So from the waist down, it's only going to be 25 inches. It'll hit right about my knee. So imagine this dress, but it'll be B. It won't have the tie on it. It's going to end about at her knee. So that's where it'll end on me. I just don't like the long dresses. They just don't look good on me. So I got that. The pattern is all cut out. And I've got the fabric pulled from my stash. This is a pattern from my stash. The fabric's from my stash. In fact, the fabric was some that I thrifted. And it's a ton of this black fabric. Let me grab the fabric real quick so you guys can kind of get an idea. Oh dear, I'm losing pieces. And this is fabric that's been in my pile of need to make stuff. So, excuse the cat hair. It's inevitable around here. But this is kind of like a linen type fabric. There's no stretch. Well, there's a slight stretch, but not a lot. Um, when you see thread in a selvage like this, you need to look across and see if there's a flaw in the fabric. That's what they do at the mills when they notice a fabric's coming through and it's got a flaw. They'll quickly put a little thread on it like that. So I will need to look and make sure there's not a flaw there. I just need, because I'm over 60 now, so people we know are passing on, and I have nothing to wear to a funeral, which is sounds kind of depressing, but wouldn't it be better for me to have something to wear so it's not something I have to think about when I'm trying to give condolences, you know? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. And like I said, look how much is here. And I think I only paid for this whole piece of fabric. I think it was like $6. We got it one time at the Goodwill. So there's that. So that's what I've been working on this morning. And then the ideas that had popped up on my feed. Hi, Melanie. So Melanie, Helen, Kathy, Mary, Linda. I think that's everybody in the house. I don't think I missed anybody. But the one thing that just popped up today is she took a toilet paper roll. You could also use paper towel. And it looked like she just rolled a napkin around it one time, and Mod Podged it or whatever. And then she cut what looked like about a 1/4 inch little pieces. And then she put one in, no, there was 3 strips of this tubing cut off like that. And then you kind of flatten them and you put 2 like an X over another one, and it forms the sweetest snowflakes. If I can find a link to the craft, because it was in either reels or shorts, as you're flipping through, it popped up and I was like, oh, I think I've got some tubes. So I went and robbed the bathroom trash cans, and then the paper towels ran out and I was like, score. So I've got enough of this to use some napkins. So I'm going to look through my napkins here in a little bit and try to do some of those to hang on our Christmas tree if we throw the Christmas tree up this year. So there's that. And then another idea that it wasn't a reel or anything. It's just something I've seen in the past. And I had used in that ribbon salad that I made at Thanksgiving that nobody liked or wanted to eat. We brought it home and we ate it, but that's okay. I had 2 cans of I think they're 8-ounce cans of crushed pineapple. And I thought, wouldn't these make the coolest pin cushions? And if I can find some emery sand, and I could fill them with emery sand and then put canvas over the top, then every time I stuck my pin in, it would sharpen them. So I ran these, I cleaned them up, got the label off, and then I just ran them through the dishwasher. So they're good and clean. But I was thinking of doing that. If I can find emery sand. If I can't find the emery sand, I'll put just those flattened out marbles that you can get at like the dollar store. Put them in the bottom just to give it something heavy to hold it up. And then put just batting or polyfill. Why can't I think of the words? Oh, you're about to get in line at the school. Must be pickup. But then maybe use some canvas on the top. Now, Ann Larb, she made the prettiest pin cushion out of like a can like this or a cardboard tube or something. But she had done some floral embroidery that it's in one of the books we all have, it's in the English Gardens of Stitches, I think it is. And she did the most beautiful embroidery on the top. But my problem with that is I wouldn't want to put pins in it. I'd want to just say, oh, this is so pretty. I don't want to put pins in it. Yeah, if I could find some real wool and put it in, that would condition the needles too. So yeah, lots of ideas with these cans, and then that would be better than sending them for recycling or to the trash. So there's a couple ideas for you. I just got in. This is like the second catalog in this week that I've gotten from Hirschner's. So I don't know if you buy any yarn or anything from Hirschner's, but I was just gonna just kind of enable anybody that's still shopping. I'm not buying anything this year. I'm using from my stash, but I like to still look through the catalogs. Hi, Sophia. And like for ideas, like look at this. I'm sure I could find a pattern similar online. Look at that cat. He's so stinking cute. And that would be something else that would be cute to add to my gifting box. Sometime I'll have to pull the gifting box out and just we'll see what all's in there. I know there's little boys' pajamas with wolves, dragons. I don't remember all of them. Remember at the beginning of the year when I finished all those pajamas? I don't have anybody in a size 3 or 4 in my life, so I don't know what I'm going to do with those pajamas. I love this Christmas tree in the, I think it's in cross stitch, but it's got, that's Baltimore Oriole, I think. And that's a little nuthatch and a blue jay and a cardinal and a red-headed woodpecker, but that's a chickadee. Not sure what that one is, or that one is. That one could be a house finch. But it's just, and another thing you can do is you can cut out the images because look at how this one's real small. And if you were doing something like that craft where you put some glue down and then you press one of those flat end marbles on it, and then and you can put a magnet on the back. That makes a great let me show you that real quick. Hang on, let me grab a marble. I keep my marbles in a jar. I think Kathy's sending me images of that craft I was talking about. All right, so I also got this thrifting, all of these. But you put your glob of glue down, and then you set this on and let it dry. That one's not very good. You need the ones that are nice and clear so you can still see the pictures. If you get clear ones, but you could do that, and then I'd have a couple little birds in there. Or say you want to do this cardinal. He would be cute in there. That marble's not quite big enough for him. But all you do is you get a glue that dries clear and that will hold the stick to glass. And then you can just put this stuff on there and then just put one of the magnets like this. Of course, these are big block magnets, but you know, the ones that are black. You want the kind of thicker ones. This stuff, I don't know that would hold that weight of that. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to drop it. All right. Let me just peek and see what Kathy's sending me. But your catalogs can be good for harvesting for small projects. Like if you want to add little images to your artist trading cards, don't neglect your catalogs that come in. That poinsettia would be really pretty in there. Let me just see. Kathy sent something over here. Oh, Kathy started her Carve December. Kathy is doing primitive leaves in nature. So y'all have to check out. If you post anywhere, Kathy, let everybody know where you're going to post. So we'll just quickly go through here. And I love these mushrooms. I love mushrooms, period. Scott says I'm a fungi fanatic. But I just like to look through these. The little owl. I went back. I'm just all over the place. I'm sorry, you guys. I went back and I outlined the owl we did yesterday morning. And I'm thrilled that this is now full. Every page has something on it now. So we did this page yesterday and this page. So if you missed it, you might want to go and see how we did those. You can go watch me struggle on paper piecing an owl. So we'll just look through this. Look at these. Isn't that beautiful? That's a mosaic. It's stitched. Oh, it's counted cross stitch. That's counted cross stitch. Oh, wow. Look at all the colors that you'd have to change for those flowers. Oops, sorry. That's counted cross stitch, you guys, of those poppies. That picture right there is counted cross stitch. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble dealing with it. All of your hand carved stamps are primitive. Mine look very primitive too. Nothing like Sophia's. If you guys hadn't seen Sophia's, you got to watch. You guys are chatting, and I'm trying to look at this. Oh, if I had a little girl, I would so do that. That's plastic canvas dollhouse. Hi, Katinka. This is a catalog from a company called Hirschner's. And I know Deb Farrell does the, hi, Josie and Katinka. Deb Farrell does things like that I am no good at seeing where the things are. There's my finger. But that's all beaded. And Deb Farrell does those beaded, like she'll take a big button with the shank back instead of holes in the button. You know, it'll have a shank at the back. She takes that and then she does beadwork all around it and turns them into the most stunning pins, brooches, pendant for a necklace. Yeah. Kathy, the seamstress at the cottage is Katinka. She's been coming on for an hour each day to sew. And I've been bad and I've been watching. But today I got that dress pattern cut out. So while Scott's teaching tonight, I'm going to get it cut out so I can sew tomorrow. But again, these catalogs that you get, don't neglect using the images because, oh my word, some of these images are just stunning. Do y'all remember the pillowcases with the embroidery on them? These are awesome. I'd love to do this frog and this turtle to put in our new bathroom. Remember, I have that giant sea turtle to cross stitch. I need to get to work. That needs to be like my major project for next year is that sea turtle. But I've also got that other project I've been working on that I need to get finished. There may be a cat jumping up any moment. All right, so now we're getting over into, you know, supplies and stuff. So I'm going to skip the rest of this, I think. And I want to open my Just Cross Stitch because it just came. And I just wanted to do a flip of it in case any of the other cross stitchers that I hang with are wondering what the next Just Cross Stitch is going to have in it and whether it'll be worth you going to the newsstand to get. I foolishly am signed up to get this in the mail until, when does it expire? The autumn issue of 2027. So I'm going to get these for a while. So let's see. The 2025 Sol and series wraps up. Stitch along. That's what I'm working on. I'm working on the stitch along. I do anything. I look at it like this. you can you can say, you can go through your entire life saying, oh, I can't do that, I don't know how to do that. What you got to do is replace it with, I can't do it right now, or I can't do it yet, because until you try or you take a class, you'll never know if you can do it. So I just jump in and do. um, Scott has a scroll saw. I could do anything in woodworking that I want to. Scott's got all the tools. So all I got to do is, you know, get him to show me how to use them all. In high school, I took metal shop, but the shop guy, he wouldn't let the girls do anything except make rings and pound out ashtrays. He wouldn't let us do any of the metal, like sand casting. The girls were not allowed anywhere near the sand casting. And that was the whole reason I wanted to take classes, because I wanted to do the sand casting. But no, girls aren't allowed. What a crock up. Never mind. Yeah, so let's look through here. It's a great day to cross stitch. Oh, that bear. And again, I'm going to try not to show the charts because somebody went to a lot of work. And if you really want to do them, you can go get the magazine. That one says For the Birds. Oh, it's a bear hug. Look at that. Oh, that's so sweet. And it's got beadwork in it. House hunting. I need to put a new bluebird house up. Ours is falling apart. The squirrels have tried to get into it so many times. His name is Mr. Burr. And I'm sorry I'm going quickly. Oh, that's the real Mr. Burr that inspired the cross stitch. Look how well they did at going from the real snowman to the cross stitch. That is amazing. That to me is talent. He actually has more charcoal in the cross stitch for his mouth. It's mitten weather. That's cute. Oh, that reminds me of where I grew up in New York. We were the only house on our road. Winter's gentle hush. And winter, after a heavy snowfall, that is a particularly beautiful silence. When you walk through the snow and you can hear your steps crunch, and that is just, it's just something that just makes you calm and peaceful. And that was Tippy going through. All right, so we're going to skip that because it's got mostly chart on it. And this is what I'm working on. So this is what mine's going to look like. I have maybe this much of mine done, like right here. That's about it, this little corner. So I have a ways to go. You didn't have shop or woodworking? Diane, I'm actually in our den. I'll show you my room when I get done here. That's a little sampler that has all the letters of the alphabet. I like to just come on and share these. Oh, Hardanger. I worked with a lady when I worked at Joann's. She did Hardanger, and she did dish towels, and they were so beautiful. And she actually worked for, I think, Warner Brothers or whatever, and she made the costumes for some of the movies. She was a very interesting lady. She taught me how to sew with fur and not have fur get all over. What you have to do is you have to trace your pattern out on the back of the fur, just on the backing. So you lay your pattern down on the back of the fabric, and you have to make sure you end up with a reverse for the opposite side, and you just draw around it. And then you take your scissors and you carefully cut only the backing, not through the fur. You cut just the backing. And then when you pull it away, you don't lose any fur all over the floor. My home my home is wherever you are. That looks like one of those, what are they called, where you take two squares and you can make a circle pincushion, a corner. What do they tell you here? They say a confident beginner, but it's so easy to do that. K3N Cloth Tails, she did one. Would you go on? No, come on, buddy. No, go. Sorry. He's got a bed there, and he's a Burkanu. Burkanu? Burkanu. And it's basically two squares that are kind of catty corner to each other. So like that's a corner of a square, and that's a corner of a square, and you match the corner of the square with the center on the side, and then you just hand stitch around, and you may end up with a round pincushion. I made one. I'll show it to you here in just a minute. Oh, that would be precious for Valentine's Day. And those little hearts, love you more. Well, you know, that requires a postie. It says we're perfect for each other. For anybody that's new to my magazine flip throughs, I mark the things I want to make. She's pretty. I don't do very good with the eyes. They never look as realistic as they do in the actual chart. Wow, that's a big chart. Oh my gosh. He's so stinking cute. I know we don't have a dog anymore, but I'm almost tempted to do that for the lady that used to groom our dog. Oh. We don't have any plans of getting another dog either, though. In my silly goose era, that is hilarious. There's another little sampler. Life in Full Bloom. Oh, I like that. I have not done any chicken scratch, but Marion at Marion's World, I think it was this past summer, she did some chicken scratch on some gingham that she had, and it turned out so beautiful. And I was like, I don't need to try anything else right now. I don't need to try anything else. But you know what? I think I have some gingham in the back in my fabric. So I may have to go back and watch Marion's video. I do like this as an idea to put on the side of a basket that you use for your stitching. It's a great day to stitch. Any type of stitching. Pumpkin lantern, in case you want to get ready for next Halloween already. I just want to get through the rest of this year. Oh, that would be an adorable ornament. A confident beginner. Not that I have time to make it. And the reason I said we may not set a tree up is I don't really have anywhere to set one up right now. I'm planning to pull my Santas out. So anyway, that's the last just cross stitch for the stitch along that I've started. And I try to keep these 4 magazines together. The spring, summer, fall, and now winter. So there's that. And I was going to show you the pincushion I made, like that's in here. But I followed K3N Cloth Tails, Catherine, instructions. And it's really cool how these work. These are my ballpoint pens for using on knits. But you see, you can see where the different squares are. And then after I'd hand stitched them together and stuffed it, there's pins coming through the bottom. I came back and I just did a blanket stitch around just to kind of finish it off. So that's just made with 2 5-inch squares. Oh, what's going on with Josie? Oh, hugs, Josie. How to describe chicken scratch. You do a pattern in cross stitch on like gingham. Let me see if I can, if you look up chicken scratch stitching, I'm sure you'd get something. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Oh, you know what? I said I was going to show my room because Diane's probably, I hang out with Katinka for an hour, and this is my space. This is our den. See, there's the fireplace. So my room is set up where sewing is over there, art is over here. And I did that because fabric and paint don't mix unless you want them to. So I have 2 Harbor Freight carts here, and that's my art supplies. And paper crafting and stuff is around this center cutting table. You can see some of the paper. And on the other side, there's a door, and it holds all my jewelry making stuff, as if you needed to know that I do something else. But then over there is where I sew, and I've got my serger and then my Singer sewing machine there. And the reason the ironing board is up is because I was cutting that dress out, which I don't know what happened to my dress that I was just showing you guys. Tippy wiped out everything when he jumped up. But yeah, it is green. It's green. It's just very overcast today. So the fireplace in the center is a color called jasper green. And then the rest of the room is green, but it's a gray day here, so it's looking gray. But before that, it was smoked tan, which looked like gray. So yeah, I don't know if I can make it look closer to color or not, but I need to clear everything off the fireplace so that I can put my Santa collection up. Here, we'll block some of the outside light out. It looks blue today. Yeah, it could. And Gretchen is back there wearing a kind of poncho type that I made. And let's see, there's art from friends all around. I don't know. I've showed it before, but some people are new. But people send me art and I'll frame it. I did the bird over there, but almost everything else was by Carol McDonald, I think. But she's not Carol McDonald anymore. So she's got the wrong signature on there. What am I going to do? Over here, I got Dee Dee and Debbie Epps and Heather. Heather did the crab. And then this was a challenge, the 2 big canvases with the little squares. That was a challenge. When I first started my channel, everybody sent me a 4-inch tile. And then I created the canvases and put them all on there. The mandala is one that I did on a big canvas. And that's my kitchen back there. So all my play stuff is in these 2 rooms. And yeah. So let's see. Yeah, it's still green. I'm not up to the energy of painting it again. We're painting the end walls. If we go on the other side of this wall, it's where our formal dining room and living room are. And each of the end walls, we're doing the jasper green lights on the fireplace over there. It's the darker green. So yeah, Kathy's got to go. Yeah, because Kathy's she's still mourning where she is. All right, I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to come on real quick. Come here. Do you want to say hi? Am I talking to people and you want to be in on it? Oh, okay. All right. So we're going to say goodbye. This is Tippy because of his tippy tail. See it? Yeah. And I don't think I have anybody else around me. There's 4 other cats in here, but anyway. All right. Say bye, Tippy. He's purring. Or as Greg would say, he's purring. Bye, guys.